that. No, thank you very much.
Honorable Minority Chief.
Not to litigate. Oh, we are not to litigate further on this matter. We've always agreed to disagree, and I am in support. So the matter has been settled now. The maker of the application has decided to withdraw same. So there's no need in going to any other litigation. Just to remind my colleague, Speaker, today is the 13th of March. It's just a reminder, it's a harmless reminder. Today is the 13th of March. We cannot go beyond 31st of March in passing the appropriation. We all know the practice as has been in this House. So the estimate have always been posed some challenge, the availability of the estimate. I want to appeal to my leaders. They should try, and you had said that you were running around for the estimates. Let the estimates come in time. And then the committees can program their sitting. There's also going to be budget
Honorable Minority Chief Whip.
I'm just reminding them.
I would want to direct that yes, the Honorable Minority Chief Whip and the Majority Chief Whip engage in that regard to make the estimate available for members. Thank you very much. Honorable members, we have pupils from some educational institutions visiting the House. They are from Merignac Memorial Academy, led by Emmanuel Krantin, headmaster. They are from Agona East constituency, 130 in numbers. We also have Gaku Basic School, led by Eugene Gogo, a teacher. They are from Lada de Kotopon, and they are 73 in numbers. Honorable members, on behalf of the House and on my own behalf, I wish our children a fruitful visit to the House. You are welcome. Honorable members, we move to item numbered 6, questions time. The Honorable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources is scheduled to respond to some questions. Honorable Minister, may you kindly take your seat. Honorable members, let's proceed to take the question numbered 50 on today's order paper. In the name of Honorable Anthony Mie Otobri, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes. Can I go ahead?
Yes, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good morning, Honorable Minister. My first question is to inquire when the ministry intends to introduce a legislative instrument to regulate the operation of the Lands Act 2020, Act 1036, to ensure uniformity in the land administration throughout the country. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, you will answer the question.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I respectfully, let me take the liberties to inform this Honorable House that I was here exactly at 10 o'clock. As a former deputy leader of this House, I respect this House and the rules of this House very much. Unfortunately, the House was not ready, and I had to rush to give a speech at the 56th anniversary of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors. As soon as I finished, I rushed back to do this very important duty. And I will continue to respond to the call of this House with the urgency and importance it deserves. Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Now, having said that, I'll go ahead and answer the Honourable Member's question. Honourable Speaker, following the passage of the Land Act 2020, Act 1036, the Lands Commission engaged the services of 2 consultants to assist in the preparation of the required regulations to operationalize the Act. The Commission, in collaboration with the Office of the Attorney General, constituted an in-house team of staff to work with the 2 consultants. After extensive stakeholder engagements across the country, a draft legislative instrument was forwarded to the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources for onward submission to the Office of the Attorney General. The draft was thus submitted to the AG's office in July 2024. Subsequently, the Office of the Attorney General, upon review, provided some comments to be addressed by the Ministry through its agencies, the Lands Commission and the Office of the Administrator of True Lands. Responses to the comments and the final draft of the LI has been submitted to the Office of the Attorney General by the Lands Commission and the Office of Administrator of True Lands through my office on the 28th February 2025. Once finalized by the Attorney General's office, the legislative instrument will be laid before Parliament for consideration and passage. I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister. Honourable Member, any follow-up question?
I don't think so. I think I'm satisfied with his answer. The follow-up would be to the Attorney General's Department. I'm very grateful.
Any supplementary? Yes, Honourable Asafwa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I would want to ask the Minister for Lands, because the stakeholder engagement started somewhere 2020, because of the lapse of time, would you consider engaging, or if you like, having another stakeholder engagement before it is laid before Parliament? Thank you.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Extensive stakeholder was done and is on record. We believe that those engagements have been very extensive enough. We believe that once the Attorney General's review is done, it will be brought to this House. This House has the liberty to always engage the public once it's here, but I believe on the part of the Ministry, we've done a very exhaustive work. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, in the absence of any further supplementary, can we move to question number 51? Also, in the name of Honourable Anthony Mie of Otobri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My second question is to inquire from the Minister what the Ministry intends to do in digitalization of the services being rendered by the Lands Commission across the country to ensure easy accessibility.
Honourable Minister, you have the floor for your response.
Mr. Speaker, there has been some modification to this answer on the second paragraph and then the very last paragraph. And so I want the record to note that, and it will reflect in the answer I gave. Mr. Speaker, efforts to modernize the operations of the Lands Commission has been ongoing for quite some time, since the introduction of the Land Administration Projects Lab 1 and Lab 2, funded by the World Bank and other donor partners with investments of over $92 million. These projects covered other sectors like the Judiciary, Land Use and Spatial Authority, formerly the Town and Country Planning Department, and culminated in the merger of the 4 land sector agencies into the current Lands Commission. The passage of the Lands Act 2020 also introduced the Client Services Access Unit of the Lands Commission, which set the stage for the digitalization of the operations of the Commission. The World Bank agreed to extend the Lab 2 project to support the digitalization of the operations of the Lands Commission and offered preparatory funds of about $3 million. Unfortunately, these funds did not materialize. I think this is the area that the modification and the correction is. The Lands Commission over the years has leveraged on 33% retention of its internally generated funds to undertake some limited digitalization of about 15% of its manual records and introduce several digital platforms to support its operations and the general services to the public. These are, however, not enough to transform the Lands Commission into the land service delivery agency we all desire. The Lands Commission has designed a project that seeks to completely digitalize the operations of the Commission by implementing several interventions that will see the land service delivery space providing national digital map data for all purposes available for use by multiple agencies and private sector, well demarcated and registered boundaries of allodial landowners, decentralized lands commission at the district level, as well as fully operational online services, easy access to cost-effective and quick acquisition of site plans for registration, real-time online access to credible, up-to-date land records reflecting the ground situation searches, quick, transparent stamp duty assessment and electronic stamping of documents, convenient payment, receipting and reporting platforms, less cumbersome and fast services by Lands Commission, gradual introduction of systematic tilting in other 8 regions, where strengthened land sector institutions, including the customary land secretariat with professionally competent and motivated staff. Mr. Speaker, it is estimated that an amount of $165 million will be required to implement the various interventions that will help us achieve these outcomes. Working with the Honorable Minister of Finance and other private sector sources, we are going to pursue all various options to provide funding for this very important project, including going back to the donor community to continue to express interest in supporting this very important initiative. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable Asefua, please allow the maker to exhaust the supplementary before. Very well, very well.
Thank
Any
you,
supplementary
Minister.
question?
Yes, respectfully, I would like to know if you would consider amending the formula for apportioning or distributing the funds, internally generated funds from the Lands Commission. I understand 33% is retained by the Commission, which means that 67... Right. My question is, would you reconsider the formula for distribution of or apportioning of internally generated funds from the Lands Commission, where the Lands Commission gets only 33% and 67%, I believe, goes into the consolidated fund? You find yourself in a situation where you are struggling to raise funds to ensure that digitalization is completed. Would you consider reversing the formula to enable the Lands Commission utilize the 67% in promoting digitalization?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The issue of capping has really been a very challenging one for institutions like the Land Commission. I am very happy that in the recently read budget, the government of President Mahama has begun this journey to uncap, to decap and liberate some of these institutions like the National Health Insurance and others. I am believing that this journey to decap will continue and will not stop at the National Health Insurance and what else? And get fund, but it will get to the Lands Commission. I thank you.
Any further supplementary question? Honorable Asafwa, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Minister, considering your government's commitment to digitalization, which reflects in the fact that your president or our president appointed a minister for digital technology and innovation. I never heard you if you had any plans to collaborate with the Ministry of Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation in realizing this ambitious program at the Lands Commission. If there is, please let the Ghanaian people know. Thank you so much.
So, Honorable Member, what is your question?
My question is that, is the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources having any plan to collaborate with the Ministry of Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation in addressing this problem?
Well, Honorable Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. At the tail end of my answer, I had said that we are going to continue to collaborate with the Ministry of Finance and other agencies, including private sector. And that's exactly what we do, including the Ministry of Communication and Digitalization. Honorable Speaker, this collaboration is very critical. But as you know, the NDC it does not believe too much in the jargons and sloganeering. We believe in results, and we will do exactly that.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable Professor Kinsiri Nyako.
Mr. Speaker, thanks for the opportunity. The Honorable Minister, very hard-working minister, in providing his responses, was giving futuristic answers. In the last paragraph, he said, working with the Honorable Minister of Finance, we are going to pursue all the various options to provide funding for this important project, including going back to the donor community who continue to express interest in supporting this initiative. Brilliant. However, I'd like to know from him, considering the significant role digitalization plays in our daily lives, when is it going to be done? We need some time frame for this to be done. For me, this is a brilliant response, but kindly tell the House, when exactly is this important intervention going to be implemented? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this is a very important question, and this is to assure the honourable member that engagements with other sector agencies and other sources where we can get funding is a top priority of mine. I'm very happy to inform you that barely 3 months.
Honorable Member, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to ask the Minister,
whether they have an intention, the ministry has an intention to explore the local Ghanaian companies, to take advantage of local Ghanaian companies in the area of the digitalization process. Because normally when these projects are donor funded, you get to realize that the support comes from their side. So I want to know if they want to take advantage of local companies in assisting them in the digitalization drive. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Our doors are very open to all companies, local and international, who has the capacity to help us achieve this goal of digitalizing our lands records and making it more efficient. Now, I'll use this opportunity to say it again. Ghanaian companies that has the capacity and can provide the efficiency that is required to achieve these goals are all welcome. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honourable Sosu.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, from the answers of the Honourable Minister, he indicated that the World Bank agreed to extend the Lab 2 project. However, the then government refused. Yes, the then government. Oh, you modified that one. Oh, very well. So I wanted to know whether the ministry came across the reasons why the previous government did not take advantage of the World Bank facility. Thank you.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
It's important to say that the records at the ministry is that those funds never materialized. Thank you.
Yes, Honourable Member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to ask the Honourable Minister if the challenges in digitalization has been the cause of the partial halt in registration in lands commissions as we speak now. Okay, I'll come again. There is a partial halt in registration in lands commission. Registration, land commission activities have been halted partially. Is it as a result of the digitalization challenges, or is an operational directive? And when will it be restored?
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, there are two things going on. We are working overtime to try to make sure the boards at the regional levels are also constituted. We are also working to make sure that we deal with the issues of referees as quickly as possible to make sure that these operations can go forward. I thank you.
Honourable members, having regard to Standing Order 773, can we limit the supplementary questions and move to question number 52? Honourable members, question number 52 stands in the name of Anthony Mie Otobri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honourable Minister, my last question for the day is, could you tell us what government policies your ministry intends to undertake to curb corruption within the land sector? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, to curb corruption in the land sector, we must tackle the issue of efficiency and transparency. This will be tackled both at the level of land-owning groups who are responsible for the sale and allocation of land and the administration of land, that is the public and school and family land. Fortunately, Mr. Speaker, the Land Act 2020 Act 1036 has a number of clauses that assist to address corruption in the land sector and criminalizes some of these, like land gas, forgery of documents, impersonation, multiple sale of lands, among others. The policy of government towards the strict implementation of the provisions of the Land Act will be reflected in the legislative instrument that will regulate the operationalization of the Act. Government intends to strictly enforce these clauses. The digitalization efforts already described is also expected to introduce several interventions that will ensure transparency in land administration, both at the customary and state levels. The improved level of transparency is expected to significantly reduce the opportunities for corruption. Mr. Speaker, another area of addressing corruption in land administration, especially with respect to state public land, is by introducing a clear policy on the management of public lands. The Lands Commission has prepared a draft policy on public land management, which has been submitted to my office. I intend to subject the draft policy to a larger stakeholder consultations for inputs and to implement some same to guide the allocation and management of public lands. This, Mr. Speaker, is intended to be undertaken as part of larger review of the 1999 National Land Policy. Recognizing that the existing National Land Policy of 1999 is outdated and does not fully address current challenges, the Ministry has initiated steps to review and update that policy. One of the recommendations of the National Land Conference held in 2022 was the review of the 1999 National Land Policy under the guidance and leadership of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and in collaboration with the Office of Steward Lands, the Land Sector, multiple stakeholder platform, and other partners have developed a roadmap for the review and preparation of a new national land policy. A technical committee comprising the various land sector agencies have been put together to address this issue. Mr. Speaker, the revised policy, once in place, will address the following. The Land Act 2020-1036, ensuring coherence with recent legislative reforms, current socio-economic and technological realities, addressing emerging land-related challenges such as urbanization, climate change, and digitalization, international best practices, that is incorporating globally accepted land governance principles to enhance efficiency and transparency, and also serve as the foundation framework for land management in the country. The policy is expected to address issues such as land encroachments, multiple land sales, unapproved development schemes, aiming to harmonize laws and practices to facilitate equitable access to land and enhance tenure security. I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Professor Kinsley Nyako, do you have a right to tell the member not to follow up?
No, I didn't. I didn't say that. He was sitting down, and I asked him if he has a follow-up question. I was just asking him.
Well, that is for me to ask. Honorable member, do you have
the land sector? Thank you.
I laid it out clearly. We must strictly enforce the Act that currently has been passed to address the issues, the land guards issues, the forgery of documents, impersonation, multiple sales. These are all clearly laid out, and the punitive steps have all been laid out. We must strictly enforce them, and working with law enforcement, I think that's what we should start doing. Thank you.
Honorable Lukuto.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is the minister mindful of the fact that Lands Commission generally is the minister mindful of the fact that there are a lot of issues relating to incompetence of some staff, usually because of family and friends dealings within the Lands Commission, and that people are there by virtue of the fact that they have their parents working with the Lands Commission. And most of these workers, there is no strict policy on transfers. So you see some of them being there for about 15 years, 20 years. They are never transferred anywhere. And so they know the ins and outs of the whole Lands Commission. And these are the ones that are able to forge and to clean some records and replace for the sake of their personal benefits. Are you mindful of this fact, and what do you intend to do about these transfer policies, especially about people who have stayed in the Lands Commission over 15 and 20 years?
Honorable Locutor, do you have any evidence to that effect that those who stay for a longer period are likely to be those who will be involved
Mr. Speaker,
in the corruption?
Mr. Speaker, if you may want to know, I'm a licensed surveyor. I've practiced in the field of Lands Commission for over 20 years. And so these are facts. I know what I'm talking about.
Well, honorable members, I would advise that we are guided in making certain statements, particularly on the floor of the House. But I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The issues raised are very, very important issues. And I'm happy that the Honorable Member brought it to my attention. We will aggressively look into these matters. I thank you.
Honorable Former Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Minister made mention of the need to raise 165 million to fix the problems at Lands Commission. I'd like to know from the Minister whether he is considering PPP to raise and implement this project, and also how far is he also looking at the issue of making Lands Commission the sole sales agent for all lands in Ghana. Sole sales agent for all lands in Ghana. So the issue of boundary disputes, issues of land gas and double sale do not arise anymore.
Honorable Minister, you have the floor.
Honorable Speaker, I think in my answer I had said that all options were on the table, including engaging the Ministry of Finance, other sectors, including Minister of Communication and Digitalization, and the private sector. And in that area, I was thinking more of those PPP, proposals. We already have some of them we are reviewing, and so we'll continue to do that. I think you meant transactions, not just transactions, land transactions. Those are matters that we can review at the ministry. I thank you.
Honorable Minority Chief Whip.
Speaker, let me thank the Minister for his answers. Minister, if you may, let's reference your answers. I think paragraph 5 and 6. You are basically talking about what is it about the 1999 policy that you want to review, specific to what needs to be reviewed, and then maybe your consultation. Can you give us some timeline? It's not new. I'm within the fall. So you got consultation that you intend to engage. That's on your 5th paragraph. Can you give us some timelines, please?
Honorable Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think that the question was related to how we kept corruption at the Lands Commission, and I had laid out various steps. As part of that answer, I talked about the need to look at the 1999 policy. If the honorable member wants us to comprehensively address the issues of the achievements of the 1999 policy, I'll be happy to bring that in a comprehensive answer once he asks that question. I thank you.
I know he's the sector minister. I am not seeking a comprehensive answer. So I'm asking this because we tend to be in a hurry oftentimes to change policy and to amend laws. I'm saying, what has been the success? You can give us a gist of it. And what is the motivation? Why do we want to amend that policy? What is the motivation? You don't need to give me a 3-page answer. Just give me 1-paragraph answer. That should be enough.
Honourable Speaker, I think in my answer, this is what I stated. Recognizing that the existing national land policy of 1999 is outdated and does not fully address current challenges, including the issues of digitalization and all these modern tools that, quite frankly, are not included in the 1999 policy. On the recommendation of the National Land Conference, which was held in 2022,
for attending upon the House and providing answers to all the 3 questions posed to him. We'll have to move to the other questions on today's order paper. Honorable members, I have been informed that, so Honorable Minister, you are discharged. I have been informed that the answers to questions number 40, 63, and 64 are going to be programmed and given to us by the order paper addendum. So in the meantime, let me vary the order of business and then we move to, well, honorable members, I understand it has been loaded, the answer has been loaded on the console. So if you are comfortable, then we proceed to take question number 40. Honorable members, question number 40 is in the name of Honorable Vincent Akor Asafua, Member of Parliament for Old Tafo.
No. Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs.
Mr. Speaker.
You may take your seats.
Respectfully.
Well, what is the pleasure of the House?
Speaker, if my colleague will agree with me, may we rather go on to the statement, because I get a signal colleagues are finding a bit of a challenge in reading the answers. So Speaker, may we proceed to go on statement. I'm sure after a while we'll get the other people addendum with the answers advertised. Then we can revert.
Thank you, Honorable Majority Chief Whip.
Speaker, indeed, that was the original suggestion.
Yes.
And so we're informed that the answers have been loaded. So if it's so, we have no objection at all.
Honorable members, the sense of the House is to move to statement. Accordingly, I vary the order of business to take the item number 7. Honorable members, the Minister for Foreign Affairs is invited to apprise the House on the deportation of Ghanaian citizens in the United States of America and related matters. Honorable members, the Minister is here. I proceed to give the floor to the Minister.
I'm grateful to you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to make this statement on the deportation of Ghanaians from the United States of America. By way of background, Honorable Speaker, upon assuming office as President of the United States of America, His Excellency Donald Trump instituted several executive actions, including executive order on deportation. Central to President Trump's immigration agenda was his firm commitment to carrying out mass deportations of individuals living in the U.S. without legal status. This initiative primarily targeted those who either entered the country illegally or overstayed their visas. As of 23 February 2025, the United States has implemented significant changes to its immigration policies, leading to profound consequences for migrant communities. These changes have resulted in mass deportations of undocumented migrants and heightened enforcement measures along the southern border with Mexico. Initially, the deportation efforts under the Trump administration prioritized undocumented immigrants and non-citizen residents with serious criminal records. However, reports indicate that individuals without criminal histories, those with final deportation orders, individuals with expired visas, and even recipients of temporary protected status, TPS, have also been subject to deportation. According to data from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, approximately 37,660 individuals were deported in January 2025. No Ghanaians were included in that number. However, 94 Ghanaians were deported from the U.S. in 2024. The ongoing raids by the Immigration and Customs Enforcement and reports of mass deportations have fostered a climate of fear and uncertainty within migrant communities. Actions taken by U.S. authorities to further bolster deportation efforts, President Trump signed a memorandum on 29 January 2025 directing the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to expand the Migrant Operations Center at Guantanamo Bay. This expansion will facilitate the temporary housing of up to 30,000 undocumented immigrants. Following this directive, 178 Venezuelan migrants were transferred to the facility and subsequently deported to Honduras, from where they were repatriated to Venezuela. As of now, no Ghanaian national is reportedly detained at this facility. Increased border security. The Trump administration's strengthened border enforcement has led to a notable reduction in illegal migrant crossings, particularly along the southern border. According to data from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, daily arrests in the El Paso sector of the border fell dramatically from 1,800 in 2023 to fewer than 100 in January 2025. This decline in illegal crossings is largely attributed to a comprehensive government strategy that involved collaboration across multiple federal agencies. The Department of State, Defense and Justice, alongside Homeland Security and ICE, work together to enhance border security and tighten enforcement measures. These efforts included increased border patrols, the construction of additional barriers, and the deployment of advanced surveillance technologies to monitor and prevent illegal crossings. The concerted strategy appears to have significantly disrupted migration patterns in the region, contributing to the reduction in arrests and crossings. However, Mr. Speaker, while the administration views this as a success in border control, it has also led to ongoing debates about the broader impacts of migrant communities and the human rights concerns associated with such stringent enforcement measures. In partnership with Panama and Costa Rica, the U.S. has established agreements to temporarily detain deportees in these countries before they are returned to their home countries. Under these arrangements, migrants who are deported from the U.S. are often held in detention camps in Panama or Costa Rica as part of the deportation process. However, reports from detainees have highlighted concerning conditions in these camps. Migrants held in Panama, for example, have complained about harsh living conditions, limited freedoms, and restricted access to legal assistance. These complaints have raised concerns about the treatment of individuals awaiting deportation in these temporary detention facilities. The Ghana mission, Mr. Speaker, in Washington has reported that 2 Ghanaian nationals were recently deported to Costa Rica by ICE. The mission is working with the International Organization for Migration, IOM, for eventual transfer to Ghana. The involvement of these third-party countries in the deportation process reflects a broader U.S. strategy to manage its deportation efforts and control migration flows. Targeting of unaccompanied migrant children. A recent directive has instructed U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents to locate and deport unaccompanied migrant children who entered the U.S. without parental guardianship. This initiative targets over 600,000 unaccompanied minors who have entered the U.S. since 2019. The measures being implemented as part of this initiative include the use of DNA testing to verify familial relationships, to ensure that children are returned to their families or home countries safely. However, the initiative has raised concerns regarding the potential removal of children who have been living in the U.S. for extended periods, particularly those residing in state shelters or with non-relative sponsors. Among those potentially affected are Ghanaian children. As at now, there are 4 children who are known to the Ghana mission who fall under this category. These children, like many others, may face the possibility of deportation if they are unable to prove familial connections or guardianship under the new ICE directive. The move has raised alarm within advocacy groups who have expressed concerns about the impact it may have on the safety and well-being of these vulnerable minors. While checks indicate that there have been no large-scale deportations of Ghanaian nationals, the immigration enforcement measures implemented by the Trump administration are having a significant impact on the Ghanaian community. One of the sources of confusion and concern has been reports that suggest that U.S. immigration officers are closely scrutinizing individuals with dual citizenship, particularly those who travel abroad using both their U.S. and Ghanaian passports. This has further heightened uncertainty within the Ghanaian community, as many individuals fear that their travel may lead to complications with immigration authorities. So, Mr. Speaker, currently, the mood within the Ghanaian community is one of fear and anxiety. Several leaders from various Ghanaian associations have expressed concerns about the growing apprehension among community members. There has been a noticeable decline in attendance at events, with many individuals opting to avoid public gatherings to reduce the risk of encountering immigration enforcement. Similarly, some Ghanaian churches have reported a significant drop in participation, which they attribute to the strict immigration measures enforced by the Trump administration. Many community members are reportedly hesitant to engage in social or religious activities due to the ongoing fears surrounding their immigration status. This trend, Mr. Speaker, is expected to continue unless the Trump administration eases its hard stance on immigration, offering reassurance to immigrant communities as long as these measures remain in place. The climate of fear and uncertainty is likely to persist, affecting not only the Ghanaian community, but also other immigrant populations across the U.S. These are the measures the Ministry of Foreign Affairs have taken so far. In response to the ongoing concerns about potential deportations, the ministry has begun engaging with all relevant stakeholders to prepare for the possible deportation of Ghanaian nationals from the U.S. A key step in this process was the stakeholder meeting held on the 17th of February 2025. The meeting aimed to develop comprehensive preparatory measures in anticipation of potential deportations, evaluate vulnerabilities within the Ghanaian community, and establish necessary support mechanisms. One of the key outcomes of the meeting was the identification of resources needed to provide assistance to deported nationals, including transportation to their final destinations and any available reintegration programs. Additionally, the stakeholders discussed the importance of coordinating efforts between the ministry, local organizations, our international partners, to ensure that Ghanaian nationals who are deported are adequately supported upon their return to Ghana. The meeting also focused on the need to secure budgetary allocation to address these challenges and ensure that the ministry can provide the necessary resources for deportees, as well as address the broader humanitarian aspect of the deportation process. The ministry's proactive engagement with stakeholders reflects a commitment to minimizing the impact on affected individuals and ensuring that proper support systems are put in place for those who eventually return to Ghana. Institutions represented at the meeting were the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ministry of the Interior, the National Security Secretariat, Research Department, the Ghana Immigration Service, the National Investigations Bureau, the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, the National Ambulance Service, the Department of Social Welfare, and Port Health. Now, Mr. Speaker, on the 21st of February 2025, I held a very constructive meeting with the U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, Her Excellency Virginia E. Palmer. The meeting sought broader cooperation and understanding of exactly what U.S. authorities were engaged in, and we also sought to ensure that the deportations are carried out in a very humane manner. It will be recalled that there have been times in recent years where nationals have been deported in conditions which were most appalling. For example, deporting people in chains, in handcuffs, chaining them to their seats as they are flown into our country. We have stated that we will want these matters to be an incident occurring in the past, and that we do not want them to recur. These deportations must be carried out in a humane manner. During the meeting, it was also emphasized that the affected Ghanaians do not have criminal records, and that any Ghanaian currently serving a jail term will not be deported until their sentence has been fully served. And we have received full assurances from the U.S. Ambassador in Accra on these matters. Updates from the Washington mission indicates as follows. Currently, there are 150 Ghanaians in detention across various centers in the U.S. who are awaiting deportation for crimes such as rape, internet fraud, and illegal entry. None of the affected Ghanaians are in detention as we speak. 50 out of the 150 individuals have received final deportation orders from the courts. Their deportation is expected to take place by mid-year, mid-2025. The remaining 100 cases are either under appeal or have been dismissed. Representations have been made to U.S. authorities on behalf of one Ghanaian on the grounds of ill health, and he has been released to seek medical care. On the 20th of December 2024, our embassy in Washington was informed of another one Ghanaian with a medical condition who requested expedited removal, as his condition was not improving with the treatment he was receiving in detention. ICE was promptly notified and the individual was processed for removal, departing the U.S. on the 30th of January 2025. So that individual is now within our jurisdiction. 3 Ghanaians have also been processed and are scheduled to depart from the United States on commercial flights on the 19th of March 2025, the 28th of March 2025, and 1st April 2025, respectively. 10 Ghanaians have also been interviewed by the embassy to verify their nationalities and ensure that they have received a fair hearing. They are now awaiting the Department of Homeland Security to purchase their flight tickets before their travel documents for their deportation can be issued. The Ghana Embassy in Washington, in collaboration with Ghanaian immigration attorneys in the U.S., have been organizing virtual town hall meetings to offer legal guidance and support to nationals facing immigration challenges. Upon the issuance of final removal orders, the individuals' names will be forwarded to the ministry for further processing. It should be noted that the aforementioned cases existed prior to President Trump's assumption of office, with the exception of 2 Ghanaians who were deported to Costa Rica, as outlined in the actions taken by the U.S. authorities. In line with the ministry's established practices and in collaboration with the relevant authorities, arrangements will be made to ensure the reception of our compatriots upon their arrival in Ghana. This will include health screening, psychological support, assistance with specific needs, and transportation to their final destination. Reintegration. The ministry is in discussion with NADMO and other partners, including the International Organization for Migration, to extend support in reintegration and providing additional sources of livelihood to our compatriots upon arrival. Options include arranging skills training, microfinancing opportunities, and psychological support to help individuals reintegrate into the society and rebuild their livelihoods. Additionally, we will work with local authorities and communities to ensure that those returning are supported in their readmission into the society to enable them contribute to their communities. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, the ministry continues to closely monitor developments related to the potential deportation of Ghanaian nationals from the U.S. to inform further actions. This ongoing monitoring will allow the ministry to stay updated on any changes in immigration policies, enforcement practices, or shifts in the situation that may affect the Ghanaian community. The operationalization of the Consular Fund, as approved by Cabinet, will be critical in supporting our affected compatriots returning home. It is anticipated that the ministry's budget, which is before this August House and awaiting approval, will receive your kind approval of the $2 million we have allocated to operationalize the Consular Fund. Mr. Speaker, based on these developments, the ministry will assess the need for additional measures, resources, or interventions to support affected individuals. By staying proactive and responsive, the ministry aims to ensure that Ghanaian nationals are well supported throughout this process, whether through legal assistance, reintegration programs, or other necessary forms of aid. Further actions will be determined in coordination with all stakeholders. But the message we want to send to our compatriots very clearly is that they are not alone in these difficult times. Their government and the people in Parliament will make sure that their needs, their consular needs, are supported. And Mr. Speaker, we will continue to do all we can to make sure that we are with them throughout these processes until they arrive and they are fully reintegrated in our communities. This is the update on the situation involving the deportation, the potential deportation of some 150 Ghanaians from the United States of America. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, that's a statement from the Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs. I will therefore open the floor for comment. I recognize Honourable Patrick Yabuama.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I would want to cut the Minister's attention, Mr. Speaker. Honourable Minister, if you go to the website of the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, Enforcement and Removal Operations, ERO, November 2024, you realize that there's a table that the ICE or the U.S. agencies put out, which has listed all the countries and the persons to be deported. On that table, Ghana has about 3,228 of our nationals listed to be repatriated or deported. In your statement, you mentioned about 150 or so, 50 of whom have gotten final deportation orders from the U.S. Institution. So I would want to seek further clarification from you on this one. Secondly, I listed the budget and you came at the end of your statement to talk about a $2 million consular support fund for its operationalization. That I will not belabor that. But with your stakeholder engagement, I also realized you left out the engagement with the IOM. You listed a host of institutions, RD, the ministry itself, and other institutions. But I realized you didn't engage the IOM, which is very important in these matters. And your engagement with the U.S. ambassador is also very important. Thirdly, you mentioned that 3 people are to buy their own tickets and fly down as per the U.S. requirements. And also 10 are being interviewed. The person or those who have already been deported, what has been the ministry's engagement? Because at the tail end of your presentation, you spoke about reintegration. What has been some of the follow-ups? Has the ministry gotten any response from this person ever since he or she got back into the country? Those are some of the preliminary matters I would want you to address. Thank you.
Yes. Honorable Xavier Soso.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to commend the Minister for Foreign Affairs for this very detailed briefing of the House, and also to commend the Ministry for the proactive measures that the ministry is taking in respect of these our compatriots. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, going through the process of deportation obviously will be a very traumatizing situation. And the least we can do as a country and as leaders of this country is to be available and provide support and assistance to these compatriots who unfortunately find themselves in this space. And I'm really excited particularly about the preparedness to receive these people who are already received their deportation orders. And I would want to urge this House that when that time comes, I think the Committee on Foreign Affairs and the leadership of this House should also be very interested in how we receive these people and how we assist them to integrate. And we all know that immigration and migration is a fact of life. And many of these compatriots who find themselves on the other side went with really good intentions, sometimes just to find greener pastures and so on and so forth. So if they find themselves in this unfortunate situation, then the state must indeed protect and support them. And I just want to commend the ministry and their various agencies for what they are doing, getting in touch with them, and ensuring that when they come back we are even preparing to get them counselors that can counsel them and properly integrate them into the society. I believe that this is a caring ministry, and we need to commend the minister for that. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Let me give the floor to the lady.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I just want to make a comment and have a couple of questions. We know that the United States of America has long been a beacon of hope to a lot of people across all over the world, Ghana included. So we do have a lot of Ghanaians over there. Some may have overstayed their visa, gone through other means, which is why they've been deported. But one thing for sure is, and I'm sure the minister who probably has done the research will agree, if you do a profile of the Ghanaians who are being deported, probably they don't have criminal records. If you have maybe one or two, maybe traffic tickets or something, but a large number of them, you find that they don't have criminal records. They're there, they're living there responsibly, they work, and they're basically abiding people over there, but for their visa overstay and their immigration problem. So I'm glad to hear that the minister said he's basically negotiated with the United States to not have them be brought over in handcuffs, because they're not prisoners, and they're not prisoners of war, and they're certainly not slaves to be brought back in shackles. So I'm really glad to hear that. Another important thing that I'd like some clarification on is reintegration, because reintegration is extremely, extremely important and critical for the Ghanaian deportees coming back. Most of them have left Ghana for years, probably decades, and they may not even know their way around Accra. Accra has changed. If they've not been here, which they haven't, because there's no way, they didn't have their papers over there, they wouldn't have been able to travel back to Ghana for years. So they will even be lost in Accra, let alone find their way to their village or their hometown. Secondly, this is very traumatic. It's a devastating experience for each one of them, and I can't even imagine what it's like for the children who are involved. So we really must have reintegration action. Aside from the long term, we must have a long-term reintegration strategy, because it's not just going to be 150. Trust me, with the way Trump is going, it's not going to be just 150 who are going to be deported. There are probably going to be thousands of people who are going to be deported. So I would urge the Minister of Foreign Affairs to have a long-term reintegration strategy. And then I also heard he mentioned, I think, IOM, that normally supports reintegration. However, with a string of orders that President Trump signed right after he got into office, which was one of the mass deportations in the history of America. Secondly was funding cuts. The IOM has been cut deeply, deeply. Because I know that even they're actually laying off about 5,000 workers, and there'll be more. So I know that the IOM funding in Ghana has probably been hit as well. So we need to find out, because normally I believe that they would have supported the reintegration. So my question is, will the Ghana government, provide funding for reintegration of these deportees? Because it's critical in terms of the economic hardship. They're going to face economic hardship. They'll come, they won't have jobs. And they will not have any money on them. Because when they are picked up by ICE, they're not allowed to go home. They're not allowed to go to their bank account to withdraw any money that they've saved from the work that they're doing. They're coming with nothing, with no clothes on. Their only clothes on their back is what they're probably coming with. So we really have to make sure that we help them with the economic challenges they're going to face, and the stigma, because there's a stigma, unfortunately, in Ghana when people are deported. It's like you failed over there. And it's not about failure for these people. Because if you go into their profile, which I hope the ministry will do, you find that they were responsible people over there. Some of them probably even have mortgages over there where they bought property, they have kids in school, some of them even pay taxes. You'll be surprised. Okay, so they're not criminals, and there's no failure about this. The only thing is that they went over there in search of whatever hope that they were seeking over there, and unfortunately they weren't able to get their papers right, so they're being deported. So my question is, in terms of the long-term strategy for the reintegration, and if IOM is going to be depended on, we really need to take a look at that, review that, because there's been serious deep cuts in IOM. all over the world where they're actually laying off 5,000 people, and their programs are also being withdrawn. It's not even suspended. It's being withdrawn. So we really have to look at that. And then the unaccompanied migrant children too. I would like some more information on that because they are unaccompanied. Who are they coming to? And we have to really focus on the reintegration. Otherwise, we probably have some homeless deportees when they get here, especially for those who may not have.
Honourable Member, I think your time is up.
I'll wait till
Honourable Members, order. Order. Please conclude. Please conclude.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I'd like to hear more about the reintegration strategy. Thank you.
Yes, leaders. You want to yield? Because the guidance is we are taking
Speaker, I'm sorry, I'm not yielding.
And leadership.
I want to speak.
Very well, speak. You have the floor.
Speaker, I think this House must pat its shoulder for what it has done. Show more responsibility and response to the need of our people. Speaker, I must commend the speakership for inviting the minister to apprise the House. We are listening to our colleague and the minister, giving details on the statistics, the engagement that have gone on so far, and what he seeks and his outfit seeks to do in the future. I cannot agree more with him when he says the action has fostered uncertainty and fear. And it's something we cannot gloss over. We can't play it down. It's a grave matter and we have to be up and doing. The statistics and the figures he put out, the 150, and he reflects on a certain 50 who the minister spoke to have received their final deportation orders, 50. And he goes ahead to talk about the 100 where the minister says is either on appeal or dismissal. And for me, there was no conclusion on that. At this point, I expected the minister to give us some conclusive statement that out of the 100 outstanding, 50 are on appeal or some numbers are also being dismissed. But he's telling us the truth, and I have no reason to worry to have a problem with him. But I am just saying that at this point, we as a country should be able to be on top of the situation and be able to tell with certainty the number that has been dismissed and the number that is still on appeal. Speaker, the minister spoke to reintegration, and then he mentioned the consular fund. It's something we've all been, I recall in our other world when he was ranking member and I was chair, it's been a matter that we've been passionate about. Thankfully, this is what the ministry will be doing to deal with the challenge at hand. And my minister at the 8th Parliament, when he was a ranking member, we worked together. Very typical of him. I'm sure if he was ranking by now, he would have been visiting some of the centers of detention. Up to this time, he hasn't told us if he has been to Costa Rica or not. Would you go or not? I want to, and I see my chair, Honorable Vanderpoy. You should be advising the minister or go together get our ranking, the ranking member, the chair, and the minister. But now you should be on your way to Costa Rica. We'll go a long way to help our compatriot. Also, our Committee on Foreign Affairs. This cannot be one-off intervention. It has to be a sustained and well-regulated and monitored effort. Speaker, the next 1 month, the Committee on Foreign Affairs should be briefing this House as a result of a briefing they have received from the sector minister on interventions, fallout, and what has become of the effort of the ministry. I think if we do that, it will not be one-off efforts which will not be good enough. Having said this, I want to commend our colleague for a detailed report, for him to note that we are also going to monitor in the coming days. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And thank you to you and for the House for inviting the Minister here to come and update us on the situation going on in the United States. And Minister, thank you very much for a very comprehensive statement that you have made here today that should be comforting to Ghanaians, that we have a minister and a ministry who are basically being responsible in trying to deal with this situation. From what you have said, I am absolutely clear in my mind that you have plans in place in dealing with this, whether short-term, medium-term, long-term, as the Honourable Member has indicated. We cannot actually, as a country, blame President Trump for doing what he's doing. We may not like what he's doing, but he's doing it for America, for his country. We have to do what we have to do. And that's first and foremost, we have to be law-abiding citizens, as we are in our country and wherever we go. The people who have gone there are not criminals, but they are actually being brought home for a reason of not having the right documentation and all that. So we have to also advise our brothers and sisters that when they do travel, they make sure that they do what they have to do to make sure that they live in that country as legally as they can be. Just as Ghanaians, we want people to come and live here legally. But when such a situation arises, we have to be able to help our brothers and sisters. We cannot just leave them because we think they've either made a mistake or. So I'm very happy with what the minister has said today. All the people that he's managed to meet, including the American ambassador here. It is important that we take our case, to where we should take it. And that's the closest you can get to Donald Trump, is actually to go to the ambassador. So I'm very happy with all the things that the minister has put in place. I wish the minister well, and I hope that, his team that is in the States and around here are actually able to help the minister. I'm sure the necessary travels will be done to make sure that our people are fine. Minister, thank you very much for coming to brief us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Minister, you may respond to the questions and make your concluding remarks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me thank honourable members for their very useful insights and comments that have been made in response to this statement. Mr. Speaker, I must also salute members for the empathy and solidarity that they have demonstrated in contributing to this statement. There are a few matters that require clarification, and I want to do that very quickly. The apparent contradiction in figures, the 3,228 on the ICE website, that has been there for more than 2 years. And we have probed those numbers. And what our mission tells us when they have inquired is that a lot of people contained in that ICE database have gone through appeals, and they have been successful with the appeals. And so the ICE will have to amend that data. They haven't done that, and that's why you have that figure on their website since that period, since it was first put out there. But what we are dealing with now are the confirmed cases for deportation, the 150. We have been given names, and we are going through the processes, identifying their nationality, confirming that they are truly Ghanaians. So we are working with 150. So officially, what U.S. authorities have communicated to us is 150. And we will urge the Ghanaian people not to panic because of those earlier figures put out on various websites. Then I can also confirm that we have engaged the IOM. The Honorable Patrick Boama said that we didn't include that in the list. Yes, we didn't include IOM in the list for the 21st, the 15th February meeting because they were not at that meeting. We were just reporting on what happened at the stakeholders meeting. As for the IOM, when you pay regard to page 7 of my presentation, you will see that we engage them separately on another day. So I said at paragraph 22 that we are continuing discussions with IOM, NADMO, and other partners on their reintegration and supporting them with other livelihood interventions. So I can assure honorable members that we continue to engage with IOM. But there is a matter that we also have to be concerned about. We cannot expect much from the IOM because they themselves have become victims of the executive orders by President Trump. And so they don't have a lot of funding these days for what they have traditionally been doing, which means that we have to look within. We have to be more resilient and come up with our own resources to take care of our people. We cannot rely on international partners. We don't really have much support coming from our international partners. We must look within, and that's what the government has been doing so far. There's another issue I must quickly speak to, which has to do with the tickets for the returnees. Let me place on record that the U.S. authorities are bearing the cost. They are paying the ticket fares for the deportation of our nationals, and all of these deportations they are doing, they are taking care of the cost. We are only to facilitate providing the travel certificate and making sure that as receiving countries we are ready to receive them when they arrive. But we are not paying for the tickets. The U.S. authorities are handling that. Then in terms of the profile, so far I can confirm that the profiling we have done, these are indeed Ghanaians, but they are Ghanaians who did not commit any crimes. They are not hardened criminals. They are decent people. They were just in search of greener pastures, did not regularize their stay as quickly as they should, and have been caught up in this. But I can confirm that these are hardworking, decent Ghanaians, very harmless, and so there shouldn't be concern in Ghana that when we accept these people and reintegrate them, they may attack anybody or undermine the safety of our are nationals. They are not hardened criminals. They are not dangerous. What they need is our empathy and our care, and we should really look out for them and show them compassion. That's what they need. I do agree that the consular fund will have to be supported, and we are hoping that when it comes to the approval of the estimates, honorable colleagues will help us in that regard so that we will get the fund which has been allocated for in the budget. We hope that you join us to approve them. In terms of the children, we can confirm, as I said in the statement, that there are 4 Ghanaian children affected so far, but we are putting in place measures to make sure that they receive all the care that they deserve when they arrive in Ghana. A matter to do with stigma has been raised, which is a very important point. We need not stigmatize these 150 Ghanaians facing deportation. We must recognize that this can happen to anybody, and any of us could have been in their shoes. That is why in today's presentation we have kept their names out. We are not mentioning who they are. And indeed, when we welcome them at the airport, we also do that off camera. We don't go with media, and we do not disclose their identities. It is particularly because of the issue of stigmatization. We do not want them to be stigmatized, and so we are protecting their identity, and we will continue on that path. Now, on Panama and Costa Rica, and why I have not visited Assad yet, I can confirm to you that under this arrangement, the persons who are held in Panama and Costa Rica have the opportunity to opt for integration in these countries. That is, if they do not want to be moved to their final destination. And the checks I have done, I did make efforts. I wanted to explore the possibility of visiting. But the information that we have received at the ministry is that there are only 2 Ghanaians in this category, this Panama situation, and they have opted to be integrated and to go about their normal activities in Panama. And so if I go to the camp now, I won't find any Ghanaian there. And if any of you go to the camps in Panama or Costa Rica, you will not find Ghanaians there because of that opportunity they have. If you want to be hosted and to integrate in those transit countries, you can do that. And they have opted for that. So let me be clear, for the record, there are no Ghanaians currently in these detention camps in Panama and Costa Rica. The only 2 who made it there have opted to be integrated in those countries. And so we are fine on that score. We don't have anybody to visit in those detention camps. I believe that, Right Honorable Speaker, I have adequately responded to all the matters that have been raised. In conclusion, I want to emphasize that we are keeping an eye on their arrival, on their reintegration. We are following up. We are working with NADMO very closely. So we have their records. We call to check up on them regularly. And those who have arrived are doing fine. And as I said, we are looking at the budgetary allocations that have been made. When we get your approval, we'll look at skills training, how to support them, those who may want to start up. Because the way they were arrested, they couldn't even have access to their savings, they couldn't have access to their valuables. It was all done in a very rushed manner. And so we would need to extend support services to them. And I can give you that firm assurance that we will do that. We continue to look out for them. We will not abandon them. They are our fellow compatriots, and we are here to serve them. And that is the philosophy guiding the whole attitude towards their return and reintegration. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. On behalf of the House, I express our gratitude for you attending upon the House and making this valuable statement in apprising the House on the deportation of Ghanaian citizens in the United States of America and related matters. Once again, thank you. Honour members, question numbered 40, 63, and 64 are directed at the Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs. And once the order paper addendum is ready and has been loaded on the console for some time, can we proceed to take that question by coming back to item number 6 on today's order paper? Yes, Honourable Minority Chief Whip.
Speaker, with respect, as you do recall, we engaged at conclave. I recognize the Minister is here, and as he's delivered the statement, ordinarily we should allow him to proceed to take the question. Speaker, we stand in breach of Order 208. Speaker, I had apprised you the need for us to make some amendments to the composed committees. So if it finds favor with you, I think we can quickly do that. I'm going to make this application to you if we can quickly do that before we proceed. Because we got the estimate are going to be considered by the various committees. And we have instances where some members belong to only a committee, which is in breach of Order 208. So if you may permit me, let's do those amendments before we proceed to take the questions.
Yes, Honourable Deputy Majority Leader.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, this was actually discussed, pre-sitting, I think, the conclave. And I think the agreement was that it cannot be done, with the current vote and proceedings. So it will have to come as a motion. And that will be done tomorrow after putting the reports and lay it tomorrow. So I think suggestion is that we'll do that tomorrow. Thank you.
Very well.
Speaker, with respect to mine, you can appeal. No, that was not the decision. Speaker, the day the Right Honourable Speaker presided, check the records. When we were correcting the vote, the Right Honourable Speaker intentionally left out those pages which contain the committees. And the advice was that he's spoken to the two whips, and the agreement, we've reached the agreement that we'll find an appropriate day. We were supposed to take it yesterday, and the chief whip pleaded with me, and I acceded that we should make it today. So don't tell me I should come by a motion. No, Leader, with respect to you. If it's by a motion, the Speaker would have advised. Is it by a motion? We can correct it here, because we have given prior notification to the Speaker, and the Speaker himself had directed. Where from this your motion?
The vote and proceedings today and even yesterday, we've approved both. So you cannot do it through the votes and proceedings, Mr. Speaker. That is the whole idea, that we think the report should be put together. You do your amendment, and then tomorrow. Yes. So,
Honourable members, I guess the pages containing the composition of the committees has been left out because of certain irregularities that needed to be addressed by the leaders. I sense that the real composition is not ready. That is why they are seeking to do that for tomorrow. So, Minority Chief Whip, just bear with them so that tomorrow we effectively deal with the issue. And then I urge the majority chief whip to also tamiously work on whatever corrections that needed to be done so that holistically we can take both sides tomorrow. Yes.
Speaker, we are amenable, no problem, but Hansard will bear me out that you said tomorrow. Let's stick to tomorrow. We don't want tomorrow comes and you say next week. I hope you won't do that. I hope you won't do that. Speaker, we are in agreement.
Well, I will also urge leaders to work on the delegations so that we can also take that tomorrow. Minority Chief Whip, please let's quickly work on the delegations and then the groups so that we can as well take that tomorrow. So, honourable members, we'll then come back to item number 6 on today's order paper and go to question number 40 in the name of Honourable Vincent Eko Asafua.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I would want to ask the Minister for Foreign Affairs the plans of the government to ensure the accessibility of the chip-embedded passport launched by the previous government on December 2nd, 2024.
Honourable Minister, you have the floor.
Most grateful, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's an honor to appear before this House to respond to parliamentary questions. Right now, Speaker, Ghana's journey with chip-embedded passport began in 2010, where biometric passports were introduced, which should have featured a microchip embedded with the holder's biometric data, including fingerprint and facial recognition, but chip aspect was left out during the production. The plan to include chip was reactivated in 2016, but could not take place. Mr. Speaker, since it was a laudable idea to introduce chip in our passports, the previous administration in 2018 established Passport Chip Embedded Implementation Committee to ensure that the new passport is birthed. So they farmed out a portion to a private partner under a PPP arrangement. The introduction of the chip-embedded passport aligns with the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, standards, specifically ICAO Document 9303, which provides guidelines for implementing machine-readable travel documents and e-passports. This modernization effort is designed to enhance border security, reduce identity fraud, and streamline international travel for our citizens. Right on, Speaker, to ensure accessibility for all eligible citizens, the government has developed a comprehensive implementation strategy inspired by best practices from other African nations that have successfully rolled out chip-embedded passports, including Ghana, Kenya, and Nigeria. The strategies include the following key measures. 1, decentralization of passport enrollment and issuance. 9 out of the 16 regions currently have passport offices. The office of the Upper East region, that's Bolgatanga, is expected to become operational later this year. The government intends to expand passport application centers to the remaining 6 outstanding regions. Those are the newly created regions, ensuring that citizens do not have to travel long distances to apply for their passports. For our citizens outside Ghana, all Ghanaian embassies and consulates are equipped to provide similar services to our compatriots abroad. Mobile passport application centers are also utilized to provide door-to-door passport services to Ghanaian communities abroad. Additionally, mobile biometric registration units can be deployed to remote locations to facilitate enrollment for those who may face challenges accessing passport offices. As honorable members may attest, my ministry recently established a studio here in Parliament to process diplomatic passports for members of Parliament. Enhance digital services for convenience. Right, Honourable Speaker, we are currently, as part of our ongoing passport reforms, integrating an online passport application system, payment and appointment to allow for citizens to initiate their applications from anywhere, reducing congestion at our passport offices. A passport application tracking system will also be introduced to keep applicants informed about the process of their applications. The system will be linked to the National Identification Authority database so that all personal information of applicants is transferred automatically directly onto the NIA system to the passport office system via the confirmation of the Ghana card number and biometric verification. Any changes to personal information such as name, date of birth, or place of birth will be done at the NIA through an update of records with appropriate documents. Right, Honourable Speaker, a nationwide sensitization campaign will be launched this month to educate the public on the benefits, security features, and application processes for the new passport. Special focus will be placed on engaging communities in rural areas and vulnerable groups to ensure that they are not left behind. Affordability and phased implementation. Right, Honourable Speaker, the government recognizes concerns about the affordability of the new passport and is committed to ensuring that the cost remains reasonable while maintaining high security standards. In our efforts to make passports more accessible to all Ghanaians and per instructions I have received from His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, we are pleased to announce a reduction in the cost of the ordinary passport booklet, that is the 32-page booklet, from the 500 Ghana cedis to 350 Ghana cedis. We will in the coming days be presenting an amendment to the fees and charges to ensure that this reduction is approved by the House from 500 Ghana cedis down to 350 Ghana cedis. That is the new policy position of the Mahama administration. I'm sure, Mr. Speaker, you might have read that a passport reform committee has been set up to study and review the contract which we inherited. That review is underway, and indeed all the partners are meeting tomorrow to conclude the exercise of the review. When the review of the contract is done, we will move into a phased-out rollout of the chip-embedded passport, and we expect a smooth transition from the current biometric passports to the chip-embedded passports. It is useful, Mr. Speaker, to add that we are also introducing a 24-hour passport service. The 24-hour passport service will also come with a door-to-door delivery, ensuring greater convenience, efficiency, and customer satisfaction. Applicants can now apply at any time during the day, including outside the regular working hours, and have their passports delivered securely to their doorstep, eliminating the need for in-person collection. We think that in the 21st century, when you apply for your passport and you indicate that you want it delivered to you, courier services should be able to deliver to you. You don't have to go through the stress of going back to the passport application center. So Ghanaians are going to have their passports delivered to them at locations of their choice once they indicate during the application where they want their passports delivered. Mr. Speaker, applicants must provide accurate addresses and contact details to facilitate a seamless delivery. In partnership with reputable courier providers, the ministry guarantees secure and reliable passport distribution. The ministry remains committed to enhancing accessibility and efficiency in passport services for all citizens. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, through these measures, the government remains committed to ensuring that the chip embedded passport is accessible, efficient, and beneficial to all citizens, in line with international best practices and our national development agenda. So by the month of April, next month, within the month of April, the good people of Ghana can expect a seamless transition from the current passports to chip-embedded passports within the month of April. That is the full assurance I can give to honorable members. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Any supplementary question?
Honorable Speaker, let me thank the Minister for a well-researched answer, except to add another question to it. Honorable Minister, I hold in my hands the committee report of the Foreign Affairs on the 2024 budget estimates of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration. In that report, there was a proposal for the review of the passport fees, which proposal indicated that the cost of producing a passport is 400 Ghana cedis. The cost of producing a 32-page passport is 400 Ghana cedis. On this floor, you have indicated that the amount, or if you like, the price of the 500 Ghana cedis that is paid for a passport is to be reduced to 350 Ghana cedis. How are you going to make up for the loss of the 50 Ghana cedis? And per my indication, I do not see budget lines to take up that 50 Ghana cedis that you are reducing it to. Can you let this House know how you are going to deal with the 50 Ghana cedis?
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
I'm grateful, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity to respond to the Honourable Asafua's supplementary question. As ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee at the time, I recall that we asked for details, for evidence of the supposed government subsidy at the time. We did not receive it. Having gone to the ministry, I still haven't seen evidence that we were subsidizing passports. Some figures were put out, but there was no supporting evidence. And the work we have done with our colleagues at the ministry, we are confident that the 350 Ghana cedis will not put us in any indebtedness. There will be no loss to the state. We will not be causing financial loss and will not require subsidies. We will not have to subsidize. And don't forget that this 350 cedis is still an increment from the previous 100 Ghana cedis at the time that this PPP arrangement was negotiated. So we have seen a jump from 100 cedis to 500 cedis the last time the increment occurred. And you recall that my position at the time as ranking member is that having one increment, such a quantum leap from 100 cedis to 500 cedis, was just unconscionable, and it was too draconian. And you could tell that the Ghanaian people have not received this well. There's been a lot of considerable agitation across the length and breadth of our country. And as MPs, we can all confirm our constituents are complaining about the high increment from 100 to 500. That is why the new Mahama administration is saying that we have listened to Ghanaians. We want to make our passports more affordable. When we make it affordable, we believe that Ghanaians will even access it more, and there will be an eventual benefit, a win-win situation for all. So be assured that there will be no indebtedness, there will be no need for subsidies, and there will be no shortfall requiring an allocation in the budget. The 350 cedis is a good reduction that the good people of Ghana deserve. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any further supplementary question?
Right Honorable Speaker, I am quite surprised to hear from the Minister that there's no basis or no documentation to support the 400 Ghana cedis that has been stated in a committee report, a committee that he was the ranking member to. But I will not litigate it. But the impression I'm getting here is that the 400 Ghana cedis that was given
Honorable Asafwa, you are to ask a supplementary question.
By the passport office is not something that has any basis. That is the indication we are getting in this house. But I will go on with my second question. My second question to the Honorable Minister is from his own answer. The basis is from his own answer. If you check paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, paragraph 9, you said, additionally, mobile biometric registration units can be deployed to remote locations to facilitate enrollment for those who may face challenges accessing passport offices. As honorable members may attest, your ministry recently established a studio here in Parliament to process passports for members of Parliament. My question to you is, with respect to persons who are in urgent need of passport, who may be found in our various hospitals, what are your plans to deal with such requests? Are you going to collaborate with the Ministry of Health, the Ghana Health Service, so that it will not be an issue of whom you know? I am hearing that there are some persons who will be in need of passports at a time, and they may not be able to get any support from the passport office, because the passport office will tell them that even with the mobile facilities, they may have to go to a certain point. How are you going to deal with the Ministry of Health to be able to make sure that such persons can be supported or assisted to be able to get the passports, even at the hospitals?
I'm grateful, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity to respond to Honourable Asafwa's second supplementary question. It's a very important question on the mobile services that the passport office is currently rendering. And Mr. Speaker, I'm sure that you will be happy to hear that apart from the deployment we did recently for members of Parliament, there is currently ongoing, as we speak, a special deployment we have done at the Hajj village. So our Muslim brothers and sisters who have to perform that important pillar of Islam, they don't have to stress to go to the passport application center.